So, hi, good day, class. Sana na may natutunan tayo dito sa online class natin, no? So right now, we are in our module 2, lesson 3 and 4. We are already in the chapter 3, culture. So, last discussion natin, we've tackled about society. So, ang society kasi, it's impossible to say na ang isang society walang culture. So, I believe no all society has culture. And right now, yun yung pagtutuunan natin ng pansin ngayon. In a society, ano yung culture na meron dyan? So, but before that, no? So, itatakil natin, no? So, kung ano ba yung culture. Okay? So, sabi pa nga ni Edward Taylor, define culture na, it is that complex whole, including beliefs, no? Paniniwala, art, no? Region, in a place, or values, norms, ideas, law, thought, tinuro, knowledge, customs, and other capabilities acquired by man as member of a society. So, it is a comprehensive indeed. It is by research though. Hindi lang to basta-basta ginawa niya. Research to. Ito yung na-come up niya na meaning ng culture. It is indeed complex. Kasi nga, ang hirap i-explain ng isang kultura. Oftentimes kasi, I believe, mainly sa culture natin, especially Filipino, na mana na inherited, no? Example, in our colonizers, Americans, or whatever it is, whoever are the person. So, ito yung features ng and characteristic of culture. First is, culture is learned. Natutunan natin yung culture. Culture is social. Socially, no? We are in socialization with other people, we learn culture. Next time is, aside from culture is social, it is also shared. So meaning, sinishare natin yung culture. Also, culture is transmitted. What's the difference between transmitted and shared? No, hindi mo to sinadya, hindi mo to shinare, sadya talaga na inherit mo lang yung culture na yan. Example, culture of poverty, hindi mo sinadya pero nagkameron ka. Culture is continuous, totoo, no? Hanggang meron pa rin culture before na hanggang ngayon dito accumulative, no? Ang dami na naging buo na siya. No, it was integrated. Next is, culture is changing, of course. So nagbabago yung kultura natin. Culture varies from society to society. No, maybe in a culture, iba din dito. Culture is responsive. Oftentimes kasi yung culture natin is kumikling kung ano yung gusto natin. Meron tayong tinatawag ngayon nga trend in social media. It was part of a culture na naging trend na, it becomes responsive in society. Next is gratifying. Ang saya-saya ng kultura natin. And culture link with the society. Yun ang sabi ko, imposible sa isang society na walang kultura. So, culture, beliefs, and behaviors that social group shares. So, ano yung non-material culture? So, in contrast, no, since non-material siya, it's abstract. No? It's all about ideas na meron sa culture, attitude, and beliefs mo society. Next is, ano yung cultural universals? So, ito yung mga paniniwala sa kultura na globally and common sa buong society. So, example, lahat tayo naniniwala na masaya at mabuting magkapamilya, no, na meron dapat pamilya, and that's cultural universal, no? Next is, ano yung idea ng ethnocentrism? What is the idea? Sabi pa nga dito, evaluating and judging other culture based on how it compares to another. So, feeling mo, no, feeling ng isang tao, yung kultura nila mas mataas pa, no? Mas mataas pa sa other culture. So, they are like in bias. So, ito yung mga ethnocentrism, no? Sabi pa nga dito, describes the term involves belief attitude one's culture is better than all others. So, feeling ng mga taong ito, in ethnocentric persons, na yung kultura nila is nangunguna. Parang yung kultura nila is panalong-panalo. Is ano tong cultural imperialism? So, ito is imposition of one's culture. Example, yung kulturang feeling mo ang saya-saya mo dito, it is indeed the true culture, ini-impose mo to. No, kaya imperialism, parang sumasakop ka ng ibang tao based sa culture mo. So, another concept is culture shock. So, I think I had this culture shock when I first came here in Marawi. So, parang iba yung kultura, parang nasa-shock ako, parang, uy, ito. So, maybe ikaw din, mismo class, pag nakapunta ka ng isang lugar na iba yung kultura, no? So, nasa-shock ka. So, yung experience mo, no, kasi meron disorientation of culture. Iba na kasi nasanay tayong tao sa comfort. Since wala ng comfort, nag-iba na. And cultural relativism. So, ito, sabi pa nga dito, assessing culture by own standard. No, since it is relative, so sasabihin natin, ay, relative ba yan sa culture nila, sa atin din iba yung paniniwala natin, iba. So it's all relative. It depends on your own opinion and to other. The next thing is this sinocentrism. So kabaliktaran siya ng, kung makikita natin, balik masaglit, no, ng ethnocentrism. So ito namang sinocentrism, yung idea kasi dito, is opposite to ethnocentrism, refers to belief that another culture is superior. So example, yung ikaw, meron kang sinocentric ka na tao. So nakikita mo yung kultura ng iba na mas mataas ng kultura sa'yo. So parang superior sila kumpara sa'yo. You feel inferior kasi nga sinocentric ka. Na feeling mo, ang saya-saya ng kultura nila, sa'yo boring. Feeling mo yung kultura mo, ang sobrang strict, no, so strict yung parents, so ganon. So that's sinocentric, no, sinocentrism yan, kabaliktaran na siya ng ethnocentric. So next no is elements of culture. We have values and beliefs. So ano ba tong values? So ito na yung values is culture standard for discerning what is good and just. So sa kuan natin, meron tayong high school natin, no, I believe we still have values education. So doon natin na nakikita ano yung good and just. 'Di ba? Sa amin yung values education namin, pinapa-answer talaga kami. Ano yung tamang pag-respond sa isang tao. Values education. Next thing is beliefs, tenets and conviction. So paniniwala. No, yung values kasi it's culture standard. Yung beliefs wala siyang standard. No, anong paniniwala mo? Naniniwala ka diyan? Okay. That's your beliefs. Ito yung sa akin. No, conviction people hold to be true. And the next thing is this ideal culture. So, ideal culture would like to embrace and live up. So, ano yung ideal culture? Example, reality versus expectation. Yan yung ina-expect ng tao eh. Gustong ma-live up nila na culture. And real culture, ito yung reality. So, it sum up, ideal culture is like expectation, expected culture, and real culture. Yan pala yung reality. And oftentimes, yung gusto natin, what we expect is not the reality. So, yan yung the clashing of ideas between ideal culture and real culture. Next, sa culture natin, of course, hindi mawawala dyan yung sanction. So, ano ba yung sanction? Isa lang yung sanction. Sometimes kasi naisip natin yung sanction, pinagbabawal, punishment. Pero ang sanction pala is, it is a certain behavior by giving support or approval. So, yung sanction, giving support lang yan. Example, may reward sa ganyan. So, sanction dyan, i-reward ka. So, ano pa? Yung paggawa mo dyan, kailangan kang i-punish. So, it's an approval of punishment to other person. So, sanction are form of social control. So, yan na yun. So, sanction kasi, oftentimes connotes a negative message. Example, he is sanctioned, nawalan sa lisensya niya. So, kinokontrol ka. Kasi nga, gumawa ka ng masama. So, sanction is related actually to social control. Yan yung purpose actually. So, here's this picture guys. So, nakikita mo ba yung picture na to? So, here's this picture na dalawang tao. Ano yung picture nito? It's in Africa, Middle East. Nag-holding hands sila. So, sabi nga diba is, meron tayong cultural relativism. Meaning, relative lahat ng culture. Depende sa'yo anong tama sa kanila, tama sa atin. Lahat may sabi. So, sa kanila, yung culture ng Africa in Middle East, so particularly dito, no, nag-holding hands yung dalawang soldier, mga magkaibigang sundalo. Hindi yan bakla, ha? Sabi kasi baka bakla pag nag-holding hands agad yung dalawang lalaki. Sign lang yan na friends sila. Nag-holding hands sila, even in public. And as far as I know, merong culture din, no, na nagbebeso-beso, no, yung other lalaki to lalaki, and I believe na nagagawa na yan natin. It becomes normal. Isa pa dito sa picture culture is norms. Defines how to behave in accordance with society, what defines right and good and right. So, norms kasi, what's normal? Diyan galing yung word na yan, what's normal? And yung normal na yan, no, yan yung sabi ng society. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga kanina, di ba? Culture and society is inseparable. So, meaning, yung mag-decide ng culture is indeed the society. So, ang nag-decide ng norms is society itself. Ano yung good at saka right, ano yung importante at saka hindi. So, dito papasok yung formal norms. Ito na yung law. So, actually guys, law, manual sa college, requirements. So, actually, ang root ng law, manuals ito is norms. No, so, before, it was just normal to do the things according to the society. And since, kailangan talaga ng social control, naging law na siya. Dinagyan ng sanction. Doon na rin nagkaka-organize, nagkaka-integrate yung features of culture. So, naging norm siya, ginawang law, may sanction, at meron na yung punishment. Next is yung formal norms, yan yung written, yung pinagkasunduan, may nagkasundo talaga, naging batas. Informal norms, observation lang, imitation, sabi-sabi lang, no, kinopya mo yung kanya, okay, na-observe ko to, okay, so ito yung gawin ko. So, that's informal norms. Next is more A's, as what it was written there, our norms embodied moral views. So, norms pa rin siya, of course, pero merong moral principle. So, example, it is moral not to kill and immoral to kill a person. So, thou shall not kill or don't kill a person is indeed a mores. Kasi meron siyang moral obligation eh. Meaning, immoral pag ginawa mo yan, moral pag ginawa mo yan. Pag meron ng connection sa ganyan, in terms of moral views and principle in a group, yan na yung norms. Okay? So, oftentimes kasi, let me clarify this, no? May mga law kasi, to be honest, may mga law in other countries, which is, I think, immoral, not mores, kasi, pinapatay eh. Pinapatay yung other people, pag nagkasala, binibitay, that's not norms, that's laws. In connection to that, that's the difference between laws and norms. So, other thing is folkways. So, folkways are norms without moral underfining. So, norms pa rin siya, wala siyang moral underfinings. Depende lang sa'yo kung sundin mo yan. So, next is symbols and language. So, ano tong symbols and language? So, gestures, sign, objects, signals. This is a material culture, ha? Ito yung symbol. So, ano yung material culture, especially symbol? So, ito na yun dito. Help people to understand the world. So, mga signs. Example ito, sign language sa daan. No, mga sign language. Bawal dumaan dito, no parking. So, ito, wag kang pumarking dyan. Okay, may CR dito, men CR, ganito. Part yan ng culture. Para ma-separate talaga yung gender, yung CR, may men talaga nakatatak yun. Yan yung symbol. No, para ma-understand ng mga tao. Ito sa example natin, ang Xing Shangli, ewan ko ba sa language na to, para talaga maintindihan kasi ang sinusolve dito is language barrier. And sa culture talaga natin, ang daming culture ng example in Philippines, since cultural tayo, ang dami nating language kasi related yung culture sa language. The more cultural yung isang lugar, ang daming language niyan. That's the reality. Here is also one hypothesis and one of the theories, and Sapir-Whorf hypothesis is based on the idea that the experience world through the language, that they understand their world through the culture. So, ito pala yun. So, sabi mo nga dito, if a person can't describe the experience, the person is not having the experience. Sabi nga dito, pag hindi mo ma-describe yung experience na yan, niloloko mo ko. Pag hindi mo ma-describe yung experience na yan, it means baka wala ka sa experience na yan. Baka hindi yan nangyari sa'yo. So, ito yung Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Na lahat talaga dapat, no, na-experience mo. No, lahat talaga dapat na-explain mo by language. Kasi meron kasi tayong pag-iisip sa culture natin nga, muntik ko na parang nasa tumoy na ng dila ko. Masasabi ko na talaga. Ang sabi ng hypothesis na to, pag hindi mo siya masabi by language, yung akala mo experience mo before, hindi siya totoo. So, anong nangyayari na yan sa atin? No? Minsan nakakalimutan natin, pero ito yung hypothesis na yan. Pag hindi mo yan masabi, it means hindi yan totoo. Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. Next is pop culture, subculture, and cultural change. So, meron tayong high culture. So, describe as pattern that exists as highest class. So, ito yung mga kultura, yung mga pamumuhay ng tao na high class na mga kultura. Will be say that it is dong royal family, yung mga mayayaman. And next is popular culture. So, sabi pa nga sa word, no, attitude that exists in the mainstream society. So, ano yung mga popular culture? So, example, in a mainstream society, sa mga TV, ano yung nakikita natin sa mga TV, yung mga popular, mga buhay ng mga artista. Yung example ng high culture, example, mga buhay ng mga royal family. Popular culture, example dito is yung mga buhay ng mga sikat. Kaya nga popular culture. Here comes, meron tayong subculture. It's just a sound, smaller cultural group within large culture. So, subculture, pasok siya sa larger culture. So, nandun siya sa malaking culture, may isang aspect lang dun, yun yung kultura nila. So, specific siya, no, sa isang culture. Next is counterculture, which is type siya ng subculture that rejects of the larger culture's norms and values. So, example sa isang community, isang yung culture dyan, may isang namuong culture dyan comes in a small group and they are counter cultures. Dito na yun namumuhay, emerge the idea of rebellion. No, example, in a larger culture, was once united, namuhay yung counter culture, yung mga rebellious spirit. So sila, matatawag na siya ng counter culture kasi nga, their type of subculture rejects the larger culture. So next is cultural change. So paano nagbabago yung kultura? Kasi lahat ng kultura nagbabago. So innovation. So it is an appearance in society because it marks as new. So sabi pa nga dito, bago siya, no? Initial siya in appearance, no? Innovative siya, no? Innovative. So bago siya pero nanggaling siya sa na lumang kultura, in-innovate lang, no? It appears as innovative. Another thing is discoveries. Paano nagbabago yung culture? Of course, by discoveries. Example, sa science natin, no, yan yung kultura before. Here comes the science. Nagbago na yung kultura through discoveries. So, yung previously unknown, nagkameron na ng reality na bago na. So, next is invention. So, may mga na-invento tayo, no, existing object. Pinorma yung mga existing object na ginawang invention. Okay, so, next is cultural lag, refers to the time lapse when a new item, material culture is introduced. So, ito na yung nangyayari eh. Nagkakameron ng cultural lag natin kasi nga may mga kulturang nalilate. No? Time lapse kasi magkaiba yung kultura. Example in terms of fashion. Ang yung passion natin paulit-ulit na pero yung passion natin ngayon, dati lang yan, noon lang yan. Binalik na naman. So, nagkakameron ng yung time lapse, bumalik na naman hanggang sa magkamit na no na nag-elapse na siya. So may mga times lang din na yung mga dating culture nga binalik ngayon, hindi na siya applicable. No, hindi na siya pwedeng ibalik. So next is diffusion and globalization. So ano yung globalization? So we become globalized. So makikita natin yung mga motto ng finance, sinasabi na integration of international trade and finance in terms of market, connection with money, that's globalization. Alongside with that is that diffusion. So it's the spread of material and non-material culture. So material, yung mga object, dinidiffuse yung mga object sa other country, pinapapunta dito. And non-material, yun yung mga ideas. From other culture, dinidiffuse, pampunta sa atin dito. And ito yung theoretical basis. Paano natin ma-apply yung theory sa culture natin? So na-speak natin yung before, ano yung functionalist view. Sabi pa nga dito, society as a system which all part functions. No, so sabi pa nga dito in functionalist view, yung view dito, lahat ng parts by function. So para siyang part ng body mo. It's an organ, di ba? Sabi pa dito, part that works. So lahat ng parts, they have their own function. No, sa lahat ng course. Example, maybe sabihin natin yung mga krimen. Krimen natin, may function siya. May mga ibang theory dan niya. May krimen daw para mabawasan yung population. Hindi natin alam kung yan yung theory. Other thing is conflict theory. So, ano yung idea ng conflict theory? Sabi nga dito, social structure inherit unequal based on power. So, nakikita mo yun guys sa TV, may mga nag-aaklas, may mga nag-aaktivista. It's a conflict. Nagkameron talaga ng conflict. Sabi nga ni Karl Marx dyan, di ba? In his book, Communist Manifesto, na sabi nga doon in capitalism, so, yung idea ng conflict theory, no, may idea na base of power. No, meron an equality, mayroon na nagrarally, nagreklamo, may purpose din yan. So, ano yung purpose dyan? Example, maybe, yung mga nagrarally natin sa batas natin, gusto nilang may law reforms. Kailangan namin ng law reforms. Ito, dapat magmahal, lumaki yung sweldo namin. No, dapat libre na yung Jollibee. Ganon, ganon. Libre na yung milk tea. So, ganon. Dapat wala ng 5, flat 1 lahat ng grado. Ganon. Stupidity. No? So, yun. In tourist view. So, I hope you learn in our class, no? Amazing studyhan yung culture. And actually, ang daming books in culture, no? And we are just in our important details sa culture natin. Culture is a big topic to study, guys. And hindi matatapos yung 1 month pag culture lang yung inustudihan natin. So, ito lang yung mga foundational natin. And I hope you understand well. Nandiyan kayo sa mga bahay nyo. Study well in our lessons. I know na mahirap yung online, pero in struggles we grow. So, thank you guys in our class. So, hope you will soon. God bless you all.